Like never, like never before, our world is changing. Faced with some of our most critical challenges, human ingenuity triumphs. Like never before, our world is changing. Faced with some of our most critical challenges, human ingenuity triumphs. Today, the Microsoft AI for Good initiative enables a person with an idea to accelerate it, to give it scale, to create change for the better.
Microsoft AI will help our work by empowering people to take action.
Through AI for Earth, photos can now help save a species. With AI for accessibility, the visual world becomes an audible experience.
Sanitarium peanut butter.
And with AI for humanitarian action, first responders can target their efforts faster than ever before.
It feels humbling to know that I'm actually helping another human being.
Today, we are empowering others to forge new paths, to fight famine before a crisis strikes, and protect ecosystems by identifying forests down to a single tree.
We have the forest that we have today. We can't change that. What we can change is the future.
Microsoft AI is fueling some of the most passionate and creative people on our planet, with the help of citizen scientists, to make change, once thought impossible, real.
AI will know and understand and model based on the child interaction.
AI unleashes new possibilities to impact our world. And together, we're not just dreaming it, we're doing it.
So first thing first, I go on. So am I audible to you? Am
Yes,
I audible?
Sanjay.
Okay, sure.
Yes.
So first thing first, Ayubowan. So it is the Sri Lankan way of greeting. So a very good evening to all of you. So you all are warmly welcome to today's session on Introduction to AI with Microsoft Azure. So I'm Anjana Dodampe and my fellow batchmate Sahan Disanayaka will be the speakers of today's session. So the today's session will be split into two sections. So the first part, Introduction to Artificial Intelligence, will be conducted by myself. Then the latter part, the Artificial Intelligence in Microsoft Azure, will be conducted by Sahan. So let's move into the first part of today's session. So as I said earlier, I'm Anjana Dudampe. I'm an Alpha Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador and a third year computer science undergraduate at University of Colombo School of Computing. So I will be covering a high-level overview on what is artificial intelligence, history of AI, the buzz in AI, and common AI workloads, and the latest trends in AI. So before we begin the proceedings, so if you have any questions during the session, please drop it here using this Slido link. So you can simply scan the QR code and log into the Slido platform. So you can just do it now by your mobile also. So if you have any concerns or any questions regarding our session, please drop it there. So I hope you guys would get this link through the email as well. So then let's proceed. So it's time to begin our session. So what is this artificial intelligence? So what does the word AI sound? So before we get into a real definition, so tell me, what is your first thought on AI? Are there anyone from the audience who would like to unmute and speak up? Are there anyone? So from the silent seems there are not. So I think I asked this question already in the registration form as well, isn't it? So yeah. So I got some nice thoughts on that question from you guys from the registration form itself. So some said the artificial intelligence is a new world, and some said the first thought come to their mind is the Jarvis, the digital personal assistant of Mr. Tony Stark in the Iron Man and the Terminator, and it is a bit scary. And some said it is an interesting path of science to make life easier, and some have mentioned that it will be an X factor of the IT industry of future, and some said it will be marvelous, and some said it's all about robots when it comes to artificial intelligence. So as well, there were some mention that AI is mimicking the behavior of human brain. So likewise, we can have so many definitions from different aspects. So when it comes to my first thought on AI, what it comes to my mind is this picture's character from 1980s popular TV show Knight Rider. Hope you guys recognize the kid. Do you? So I would like to share you with a popular scene of that TV series. I think you guys can recognize this.
What would you like to hear? What the hell was that? Do you wish further information on Silicon Valley?
Hell no, I want to know who you are and how you're listening in.
There's no reason for increased volume. I am scanning your interrogatives quite satisfactorily. I am the voice of Knight Industry 2000's microprocessor, KITT for easy reference, a KIT if you prefer.
No, I don't.
So actually, it was the first time that Kit greets Michael. So when it comes to artificial intelligence, the first thought that comes to my mind is that scene. So that's why I love that TV series as well.
What would you like to hear?
So moving on. So when it comes to the actual definition of artificial intelligence, so AI is an ability of computer program or a machine to exhibit, mimic human-like behaviors. So when we take these human-like behaviors, we can identify visual sensors, speech recognition, decision making, learning, problem solving, and natural language understanding, etc. So we can identify those types of behaviors that humans follow. So AI is the science of practicing those behaviors for the machine. So why AI now? So as far as concerned, AI has the potential to disrupt everything in the modern world. So we see how AI come into life in new ways. So when it comes to the things that drives AI this much forward, we can identify three main trends. They are massive data, big compute, and the powerful algorithms. So when it comes to massive data, we generate incredible amount of data on our day-to-day life. So in the modern world, we possess massive computing power, especially through cloud platforms. So that's why the big computing is a popular trend nowadays. As well as when it comes to powerful algorithms, today's computers can accomplish more sophisticated tasks on their own with the aid of deep learning and reinforcement learning algorithms. So in that sense, we can say that AI is the new electricity. So as this Andrew Ng, who is a pioneer figure in AI, said, he said that about 100 years ago, the electricity transformed every major industry. So it's the new electricity. So now let's go to the history of AI. So AI has been around since 1950s. So in recent years, there has been so much hype and buzz about AI because now, as far as concerned, artificial intelligence is the future. So in the 1950s, scientist Alan Turing invented the Turing machine, which performed Turing test, which allows a machine to think and do certain tasks that humans capable of. And in the 1956, the AI was accepted as a field in the Datamouth conference. So likewise, throughout the history, AI has gained in potential over the years. So since as far as there has been recent explosions of innovations in AI, now it is shaping the world around us. So we can see the evolution of AI is not just a J-curve graph. It is just like a roller coaster. That means there have been ups and downs throughout the history. So we can see from early algorithms, it evolves into expert systems, and then into neural networks, then machine learning and deep learning. But in between, we can see there have been certain fallback as well as. So those fallbacks are known as AI winters. So in the 2021, we are at a point where we can't imagine where will we be heading. So there is an insight that the AI will gain scale effectiveness and pervasiveness, and also there is a conception that its excitement will fade and certain applications will benefit hugely, as well as there might be another AI winter coming. So likewise, we have those things. So I would like to know your opinion on this. So what do you think? So what we can expect in the field of artificial intelligence in the coming years? So you can simply scan this QR code and vote in this poll. So I would like to know your idea as well. So if you got a mobile phone with you, you can simply scan this and cast your vote. So here's your chance. I will spare a moment here. Now 3 has voted. So no one says that AI winter will arrive yet. We never know. In that graph also, we saw that there have been almost a roller coaster ride. So now there are certain votes for that also. So I think now the time is enough for you guys to scan that, so you can vote on the process. So let's move on to the presentation. So that's how the history of AI thing. So as I think the best path would be the middle path. So because the AI is a useful level, so it is our responsibility to use it responsibly. So as Lord Buddha also said that the middle path is the best path. So I'm truly believing in that one. So the term artificial intelligence tend to be thrown around a lot. So we come across to hear artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, data science. So these are the terms that confuse many people. So what are they anyway? So let's clarify them. So when it comes to artificial intelligence, so generally AI is a program that can sense, reason, act, and adapt. So when it comes to machine learning, it is an algorithm whose performance improves as they are exposed to more data over time. And when it comes to deep learning is based on multi-layered neural networks that learn from vast amount of data. So what's the connection between these three? Let's figure out that. So as you can see in this diagram, artificial intelligence is a superset. So it is a huge scope. So under that, the machine learning is a subset of artificial intelligence. Likewise, deep learning is a subset of machine learning. So you can see how wide this artificial intelligence field is. So it has many areas to cover inside that one. So, and also apart from them, there is another field called data science. So basically data science is the area of study which involves extracting knowledge from all the data we can gather. So basically, as I said earlier, AI is the electricity. So in that sense, the data is the new oil. That means we need data to run all these things. So now let's see how these terms play in this field. So data plays important roles when it comes to artificial intelligence. So it is a must part in all these subsystems. So data science come between these fields. So that's all about the buzz in AI. Now let's move into a common artificial intelligence workload. So when we take AI, we can identify these key elements: machine learning, anomaly detection, computer vision, natural language processing, conversational AI. So machine learning is basically about how to teach a model to make predictions and draw conclusions from that. And when it comes to anomaly detection, it is about detecting errors and unusual activities. So when we come to computer vision, it is interpreting the outside world visually. So when it comes to natural language processing, it interprets written or spoken language. And conversational AI is about participating in conversation. So let's explore each of these elements one by one. So what is machine learning? Machine learning is a technique where the machine examines through large set of data to find patterns over time. So how do the machines learn? So let me explain the process with a real world scenario. So recently, just before the third COVID wave strikes, I joined with few of my friends for a tree planting campaign in Antana mountain range. So there we were planting nearly about 100 plants. So we had to pick plants that suit in the topographical feature of the land there. And there we ran into a problem identifying certain plant types because we are not that much expert in the environment side. So we barely know most of them. So at that instant, what came to our mind was how it will be helpful if we had an app to detect and catalog all those plants using our mobile phone. So that's where machine learning can help in our side. So suppose we want to identify and catalog different species of plants using a phone app. So as the first step, what we have to do is to collect data on all these various types of species as samples. Then what we have to do is we have to label the samples the correct species. That means we have to mention the correct name of the specific plant species from the samples collected. And next, the label data is processed using an algorithm that finds relationships between the features of the samples and the labeled species. So as the next step, what we need to do is the results of the algorithm, we should encapsulate them in a model. So now we can find a new plant which we can't figure out on site. We can use this model which can identify the correct species label via a mobile app. So that's how the model identifies a new category of plant, and it help us mentioning the name of that specific plant. So when it comes to machine learning, we can identify three main stages. So the first stage is preparation of data. The next stage is build and train of a model, and the third stage is deployment of model. So in between these stages, there are certain sub-stages too. Since this session is mainly focuses on beginners, so I won't mention them here. I just basically mention three main stages only. So In the previous slides, I was talking about a model. So often you will hear references to a model and people talking about tuning, training, and tweaking and deploying model. So what is a model? Basically, a model is just a function, just like another function. So a model is trained to reason over data that haven't seen before and make predictions from those data. Typically, data scientists use programming languages like Python, R, with machine learning frameworks like Scikit-learn, TensorFlow, and PyTorch to train these models. So once you have trained these models, you can use it to reason over data that hasn't seen before, and you can use them to make predictions based on the data provided. So now let's see what algorithms are used to train these models. So in order to use machine learning, we need to know what type of algorithm to use depending on the problem we have to deal with. So we can identify three categories of common algorithms as classification, regression, and clustering. So regression problems are used in cases where we need a prediction from a continuous numerical value. For an example, we can get an instance where we want to predict the price of a vehicle based on the history of the vehicle prices. So when it comes to clustering, these problems are used in cases where we need to group data that have similar characteristics. For example, we can categorize a group of patients based on the symptoms of the virus they have. So likewise, we can use clustering. And when it comes to classification, classification is used in cases where we need to predict between discrete classes or categories. For an example, we need to predict whether the provided animal is a cat or a dog. So the machine learning model can classify the provided image basically image of the animal as a dog or a cat. So that's how all about models. So when it comes to machine learning in Microsoft Azure, Azure has many services. So Sahan will be covering all those things in the later part of this session. So I won't go deep into those things. So Azure provided automated machine learning service, Azure Machine Learning Designer, data and compute management, and pipelines. So Sahan will show you practical applications of all these things. So that's it about machine learning. So now let's move to anomaly detection. So anomaly detection is a machine learning based technique that analyzes data over time and identifies unusual changes. So for an example, we can think of scenarios like detecting credit card frauds, and you can see this anomaly detection is widely used in applications which tracks fault products for the production environments, as well as we can see how these anomaly detectors are used in racing car telemetry system. So let's explore how anomaly detection helps in the racing car scenario. So as you know, the racing car has got many sensors. So these sensors in the car collect telemetry data. That means the data such as engine speed, engine revolution, the brake temperature, and so on. So we use an anomaly detection model which is trained to understand expected fluctuations in the telemetry measurements we obtain through those sensors. So if we see there is a difference between values, that means if a measurement occurs outside of the normal expected range, the model reports an anomaly to the racing engineer, so that the racing engineer can call the driver to a pit stop before the driver forced to retire because of a technical failure. So that's how the anomaly detection is used in racing car telemetry system. So that's it about anomaly detection. Now let's move into computer vision. So computer vision is the area of AI that deals with visual processing. So if we take a good example, this Scene AI app is a great example which uses the power of computer vision. So basically this app is mainly used for the people who are blind and low vision. So it harnesses the power of AI to open up the visual world to describe nearby people, text, and objects. So this app is very useful for the blind people. So they can deal with the outside world just like normal healthy people. So when it comes to computer vision, we can identify several capabilities of computer vision models. So they are image classification, object detection, semantic segmentation, image analysis, face detection, analysis and recognition, and optical character recognition. So image classification involves training a machine learning model to classify images based on their content. So here we see we can classify images of dogs and cats using a machine learning model. So as of 2015, the studies have shown that the computers can train to perform these tasks better than humans. So that's how the AI is working in efficiently. So when it comes to object detection, the object detection machine learning models are trained to classify individual objects within an image. So here from this example, you can see how the vehicles are recognized by the computer with the aid of computer vision object detection algorithms. So when it comes to semantic segmentation, it is an advanced machine learning technique. So here, each individual pixel in the image are classified according to the object to which they belong. For an example, so in a traffic monitoring system, the solution will overlay traffic images with masked layers you can see from the image, and it will highlight different vehicles and other objects using specific colors. So we can clearly differentiate those things. So these things are widely used in autonomous cars. So when it comes to image analysis, we can create solutions that combine machine learning models with advanced image analysis techniques to extract information from the images. So here you can see the model has identified the person, and it has provided the description explaining the picture. It's just like a picture description we used to do in small languages. So when it comes to face detection, it is a specialized form of object detection which locates human faces in an image. So it basically detects facial expressions like smile and all. So here in this image also you can see how the smile is detected. So optical character recognition is a technique used to detect and read text in images. I think this technique is more familiar for you also. We use this in most of the day-to-day scenarios as well. So like the things, this computer vision also can be found in Microsoft Azure. It provided computer vision, custom vision, face and form recognizer. So I won't dig deep into those since Sahan is going to explain those things. So I will show you a simple demo how this computer vision is used in Microsoft Azure. So this is a hands-on AI demo. So we can see, we can identify several images here. We can pick an image. So here we can say this computer vision model has analyzed the image and it has forecast certain metrics. So you can see it has detected water, sky, and so on. So that's how computer vision analyze the images. As well as it can detect text in the images. So here this wording in the image is directly extracted as a text. And also it can recognize handwriting. So the handwriting in this image is extracted as text here. As well as it can identify special celebrities and landmarks. Here it is 100% confidence this is Satya Nadella. So that's how computer vision is used there. So let's move into natural language processing. So natural language processing is the area of AI that deals with creating software that understands written and spoken languages. So we can use this NLP to analyze and interpret text in documents, email messages, and so on. As well as we can use them to interpret spoken language and synthesize speech responses and automatically translate spoken or written phrases between languages and so on. So as I'm speaking, I can show you how it is actually working. So you can see on my screen, so the speech is directly translated into text through speech to text feature in this natural language processing. So that's the power of AI. So that's a practical example we can show you on the demo. So these Azure Cognitive Services provide so many services which we can use for the natural language processing. So in the later session, these things will be covered also. So then the last element is conversational AI. So what is conversational AI? Basically, it is a solution that enables dialogue between an AI agent and a human. So normally these AI agents are the bots. So we can use these bots for customer services and the reservation systems and healthcare consultations and the self-diagnosis and for the home automation also. So the most commonly used use case is the personal digital assistants. You can identify Cortana, Alexa, Siri and all. So in Microsoft Azure, it provides Q&A Maker and Azure Bot Service to carry on these conversational AI proceedings. So I will show a hands-on demo with Microsoft Azure Health Bot. So this is a health bot deployed by Microsoft. So I will start a conversation with this bot. So I will be asking, am I having coronavirus? So it has responded. So it has asked me, have you recently traveled to any of the following countries? So since I didn't visit any of those, I said no. So again, the bot asked, have I been in contact with someone who had traveled to these countries and now is sick? So it also no. So again, it is asking whether have I been in contact with someone known to have coronavirus. So actually not to my knowledge. So And also again, it is asking whether am I asked by a public health office that I have been exposed to a coronavirus. And I said no here. So let's see what the response. And again, it is asking for any symptoms. So at the moment, I'm not having any symptom. So now then you can see that bot has come to a conclusion that you haven't traveled to an area in which there are no known coronavirus cases. So you don't report any symptoms of coronavirus infection. So your risk is low. So I think you would have understand the scenario here. So without visiting a health professional beforehand, we could simply clarify the issue with this virtual bot. So if we take an instance where the risk is high, the bot will immediately contact us with a required health professional to seek the exact medical treatment. So that's how the Azure Health Bot works. So that's the real world scenario. So that's all about the common artificial intelligence workload. So now let's move into the latest trends in AI. So in our time, we can see the human population has almost doubled. And as human, we are using more than 70% of land on Earth. And as well as we can see, so these days also we are suffering badly from this coronavirus, and we are experiencing many catastrophic impacts on climate change as well. So, and again, we will be running out of fresh water supply soon. So somehow we have to figure out a way to mitigate and adapt to all these challenges. So we must ensure that we will adapt to the change in climate, and we will adapt to the rapid growth of the population, as well as so many other issues. So I think this is we are facing our last real opportunity to ask ourselves the most fundamental question. So that is, how can we solve these challenges? So there we can see so many problems at planetary scale. So the most important question to ask is not just what technology should be built, but how technology we can use for the betterment of the world. So in that aspect, can AI help? The answer is yes, it is already helping. Yeah, because it's the time of, it's the age of AI. So this AI for Earth initiative is a program by Microsoft. It is empowering people and organizations to solve most of these environmental challenges by increasing access to AI tools and educational opportunities while accelerating innovation. So as a part of that program, think of, imagine if we had a planetary computer that could tell us exactly what we need to do to protect Earth or any other system that is capable of providing information about every tree, every species, and every natural resource on the Earth. So this planetary computer is a best example we can reveal to show that the AI is shaping our future. So the planetary computer is an AI-driven platform that puts full power of Earth-scale data right at people's fingertips. So this planetary computer is mostly powered by Azure Open Data. So it is helping scientists from all around the world to monitor, model, and manage the planet's natural resources. So the data will become actionable insight that will tell us how to prioritize and preserve and protect these animal species, forest, our fresh waterways, and all the other ecosystems around the world. So this is a use case of this planetary computer. So WildMe is an initiative. It is an open source platform for identifying and tracking wildlife with the help of computer vision and machine learning. So by this, we can use to protect animal species in Earth. And again, this Ag Analytics is another initiative. It encourages farmers to engage in sustainable production of their harvest. So it will get data from farm equipment and satellite images and weather forecast, providing giving useful insights and recommendation for farmers on how to do their cultivations to get a good harvest. So deploying an AI in various sectors has potential to power the journey in making a healthy planet to prosper a sustainable future. So the future is ours to decide. So we have all the technologies and the power to decide our future. So in these days also, AI is widely used in the fight against corona. So we get the help of AI to track the virus and forecast insight. So it is helping our support. It is helping our hospital systems to admit the COVID victims on time. And so there are many use cases. So you can see from here also, it is used to monitor and track the risk levels and spread of the disease so that the administrative bodies of those countries can get administrative decisions based on these data visualizations. So basically this data visualization is powered by Microsoft Power BI, which is a business intelligence platform in Microsoft. So those are some trends. Other than that, I think most of the AI things are you might know all about autonomous cars and all. I didn't mention them here because these were some unique things that most of the guys would haven't seen before. So I thought of including them. So as the Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella say, the future we will invent is a choice we make. So that's it from my part. So now I will hand over the session to Sahan Disanayak. Sahan, over to you.
Thank you, Angela. So in Anjana's part, I hope everyone should gain a lot of knowledge about what are the artificial intelligence workloads and what are the basics, what are the artificial intelligence and so on. So basically in my part, I will show you how we can practically use those technologies to implement such application in artificial intelligence. So I'm Sahan Disanayak, Beta MLSA, third year undergraduate of University of Colombo School of Computing. So before going on to the hands-on session, I want to cover some of the technical parts I have to cover for you all before going into the technical parts. So moving on. So basically Azure will provide you the AI services, AI tools, and AI infrastructures, which all the aspects you need to know, and you need to have to build your own machine learning or artificial intelligence application. Under the AI services, Microsoft Azure provide cognitive services, bot framework, and Azure machine learning. I'm mostly focused on Azure machine learning, where I can cover most of a lot of artificial intelligence theoretical parts, which Anjana has explained in the previous part. So I mainly focus on Azure machine learning. Under the AI tools, Azure has Azure ML Studio and Azure. Can we go to the previous slide? Okay. Azure ML Workbench, VS Code Tools for AI, and Azure Notebooks. Some of you will familiar with the Jupyter Notebooks, where we can train and manage our own training model. So Azure Notebooks are similar to Jupyter Notebooks, and also deep learning frameworks like Cognitive Toolkits and TensorFlow and Caffe2 are provided by Microsoft Azure. As the last part, the data lake, SQL Server, and Cosmos DB will be provided by Microsoft Azure under the AI on data, where we can store our own data sets, and also under the AI compute, the Spark, DSVM, BedAI, ACS are provided by Microsoft Azure. All these things I will show you in the demonstration part, so don't worry. So moving on. So this is mainly the workflow. I want to show you how we can create our own artificial application in Microsoft Azure. So starting from computing resource and ending from model deployment. So we are going to start with a scalable on-demand computing resource where we have to keep our own computing resource to train our model, and to storage wise, we are going to have a data storage and connectivity, and ML workflow orchestration by clustering, and model registration and management using ML designer, and metrics and monitoring. We are going to evaluate our model, and finally we are going to deploy our model. So hope you guys all are excited about the demonstration. So let's get into the demonstration part. Let me share my screen first. Okay, hope you can see my screen. Okay, so before you are going to the Microsoft Azure, you all have to create a Microsoft Azure subscription and have Microsoft account, Microsoft Azure account, in order to build all of these resources under the Microsoft Azure. So if you haven't an account yet, don't worry, you can create a free account under the Microsoft Azure. So first of all, we have to create a resource by pressing create a resource. Then you have to search machine learning. After that, you searching machine learning, you will see kind of this service where Microsoft provide machine learning related stuff. So basically you have to create, and it will ask some of the ground data about what are the resource group. So basically resource group is how in what resource group each with my machine learning these services will add, going to add. So basically you can select any of your resource group. Don't worry if you are not having a resource group, basically you have to create a new resource group. See other data fields, you have to put the default data, workspace name, and kind of this data may be empty, is no issue. After inputting basics data, you have to input networking, advanced tag, and finally you can review and create your data. Okay, I already have created machine learning services under my Azure subscription. So after you are successfully creating your machine learning resource, what you have to do is you have to click this resource. Then you will at the first time it will take some time to create the machine learning component inside of Microsoft Azure. After creating it, you will see kind of this button, Launch Studio. So this will redirect you to the machine learning studio, where you have to do all the machine learning stuff and artificial intelligence related stuff you have to do under this machine learning studio. So basically, Microsoft Azure provides including notebooks where I have explained earlier. It is similar to Jupyter Notebooks and ML Designer, where you can build your own machine learning model. Where you have to know use of any kind of a code and experiment pipelines, model endpoints, so and so forth. So to get to the head start, you have to create a compute power, compute resource to your ML model. So Microsoft Azure will provide 4 types of computing resource for you to add your own computing resource, such as compute instance, compute cluster, inference clusters, and attached computers. So for our demonstration part, it will only need computing instance and computer clusters. So already I have created the one, but I will show you some demonstration how you can create computing resource under the Machine Learning Studio. So basically, it is kind of a simple task. So you have to select a CPU, notice a GPU, you have to select a CPU. And my recommendation to you to select a virtual machine size as the DS211 version 2. It provides comprehensive computing power to your whole machine learning model. It provides 2 core, 14 GB RAM and 28 GB storage. So and also it costs around $0.818 per hour. So basically approximately you have cost around $2.5 per day. And next you have to give a unique name for your computing name, and then no need to enable SSH access. So basically we are going to deploy our machine learning model in locally. So basically from that you can create your own computing instance. I'm not going to create it now because it cost some time. After that you have to create a compute cluster as well. It is also a similar kind of a procedure. These types are all default types, and here also we have to select get a DS11 yes, okay. DS11 version 2 and click next. And here you have to provide another unique name for your cluster, computing cluster. After that you have to provide the minimum number of nodes and maximum number of nodes. So basically a node means kind of an instance for your computer. So my recommendation to you to use minimum of 0 number of nodes and maximum of 2 nodes. As long as you provide a high number of nodes for your computing cluster, it will cost you the number that you have input in the maximum number of nodes. So the idle second, it is good. You have provided around 100 to 200 idle seconds. So no need to enable the SSH access. And that's it. We are good to go with the computing resources. After successfully creating the computing resource, our main idea is to manage and create our own machine learning model inside Microsoft Azure. Basically, we are creating a computer inside our Microsoft Azure. So after that, we have to build our machine learning application inside our Microsoft Azure ML Studio. So I will show you some of the pre-built machine learning application. As Anjan explained in his session, you will get a brief understanding how you can build a machine learning application. So first of all, you have to select a dataset. The dataset means the historical data where we have to get some kind of a dataset, and based on that dataset, we are going to do some kind of a work. As an example, Anjani said that he wants to select a plant based on the plant type he wants to give to the computer. So basically like that. And you can get sample dataset in Microsoft Azure under the sample dataset. So Microsoft Azure provide some pre-built dataset, including IDBM, movie titles, movie ratings, weather datasets, and so on and so forth. So basically, I have used the diabetic dataset where we can predict the given patient has diabetics or not based on their age, weight, and other kind of features. You basically know there are features and labels. So features are the we are going to have analyzed, and labels are we are going to predict. And we are going to do technical part called normalization. So normalization part, we are removing the unwanted data and we are keeping only the essential data. So basically that is kind of normalization. For your knowledge, that is fine. That level is fine. So after normalization, we are going to split our data. So basically splitting means, as you may have understand in this previous session, we need some portion of data to train our model. Basically, by the given data, we have to train our model. So this A is this, B is this, kind of. So some portion of data to test the model. So basically the training part is how well training part is performing can be addressed by the testing phase. So that's why there is only one input in the split data, and there are two outputs from going by the splitting data. So we are inputting all the data to the split data, and we are dividing it into the two parts, one for the training part and one for the testing part. And also we have to give the algorithm we want to provide for our application. It may be a linear regression, it may be a logistic regression, it may be clustering, it may be k nearest neighbor. All the algorithms have been provided by the Microsoft Azure ML Studio. So under the machine learning algorithms, there are 19 algorithms provided by it. So including linear regression, neural network regression, Poisson regression, k-means clustering, multi-class border, this decision tree, random forest, all the machine learning algorithms are included in here algorithm section. So if you are a person who know machine learning already, can someone tell me what is regression or classification or clustering application by considering the algorithm? Okay, I will tell you the answer with the time I consume. So it is a classification problem. So that's why we are using a logistic regression. So after providing algorithm, we have to train the model. In the training phase, what we have to do, as I explained earlier, it will take the data and predict the labels based on the features. So after training phase, it will do the scoring part, and it will evaluate the model. So in the evaluation part, we can I already trained the model and get the evaluation part as well. So all these steps are all automatically done by the Microsoft Azure. So only we can need to press a button to evaluate. So basically it provides all the visualization, the ROC curve, precious recall curve, lift curve, and all. So basically it provides how amount of predicted are 1 and actually 1, and how many predicted 0 and actually 0. So basically based on those data we can get the accuracy of the model. So basically it has a 0.86 accuracy. So basically it has a good accuracy of for this training model. So F1 score and basically those kind of data will important a lot to evaluate our model. So this is kind of a flow you can create by using Microsoft Azure ML Studio, and you will understand that it is really easy. By using Microsoft Azure, you can create your own ML model, and And the next thing I want to show you is the inference pipeline. This is the training pipeline, and the inference pipeline means, so basically we have done the building part. So as the Anjane's example, so he built the app. So the inference part means any of user can drop an image of a plant. So the machine learning algorithm will predict what is this plant. So that is the inference part of the machine learning application. So basically in this pipeline, it will input kind of web service output. So in here we can input some kind of a random prediction data. In this application, I have inputted some data to predict where the relevant patient has diabetes or not. So there are 3 examples. So first patient has diabetes around the probability of 0.70, and second patient has diabetes around a probability of 0.85, and the same kind of data for third patient as well. So it provides some results. So basically that is the flow. You can create your own ML application under the Microsoft Azure. So this is the A to Z application building under the Microsoft Azure. But also you can create your own application where all the pre-built data and all the training data sets and all the testing data sets and predicting data sets by building your own computer and drop it as an application. So this is kind of application I have built to predict basketball players, how will they play. If I choose kind of 5 players, I will show you some demonstration. So this is kind of a squad, and I will pick random 5 players, and these are their average player averages. So if I select these 5 players and start the game, the model will predict how well they play in the first quarter. So the same kind of application we can build for the cricket as well. So kind of this application will help a lot for the coaches, how well the selected team will perform in the final match. So you will understand how AI will give solutions to our practical phenomena. That is it that I want to cover for you all. I want to show you some, give you a brief introduction how you can build your own application using Microsoft Azure. So over to you, Anjan.
Thank you, Sahan. So it was a nice session on building some real-world application through Microsoft Azure. So I think our audience will gain a lot of knowledge from that. So Sahan, now our audience, I saw that there were so many first years and second years. So I think they are very interested in knowing where we can get started here, right?
Yeah.
So what we recommend you is the best place to get started is Microsoft Learn platform. So you can find so many modules, so you can discover your learning path and you can move forward. So there are so many nice things you can do in this Microsoft Learn platform. So if you want to get head start in getting to know artificial intelligence, so there is a module called Get Started with Artificial Intelligence on Azure. So you can simply follow that. So apart from that, you can get started with so many available online resources and books. So here there are a few books you can use as beginners. So if you are interested in machine learning and deep learning, so you can refer to these books. as well as on the internet, we can see so many online courses like Coursera and courses offered by the IBM and LinkedIn Learning also, as well as in the Microsoft Learn platform, there is a certification part also called Azure AI Fundamentals. So there are so many resources where you can get started. So these days, basically, it is all about online life. So in one aspect, this Corona is a blessing in disguise. So we have so many time at home. So we have access to so many resources at our fingertips. So all you have to do is learn at your own pace. Before that, before diving into the machine learning and AI, we strongly recommend you to get the basics covered. So in the our first years also, we didn't had much knowledge on this stuff. We directly tried to jump into machine learning. So it is, in one aspect, it is something which is useless. So before diving into machine learning, you have to cover the basics like data structures and algorithms and your programming coding skills and problem solving, calculus and statistics. So after following and improving on them, you can set foot onto machine learning. So where you have a strong base, so you can carry forward. As well as if you are interested in this AI and machine related stuff, you can always engage with tech communities. So in Sri Lanka also, there are so many tech communities. So there is an special initiative called AI Driven Sri Lanka, which is organized by IEEE Young Professionals Sri Lanka. It is basically mainly focused on AI and machine learning stuff, as well as there are so many webinars and technical sessions hosted by Microsoft Student Champs, and as well as IEEE Techno Meetup. It is the best place to get knowledge on all this stuff related to AI and machine learning, where you will have meetups and so many other activities. So it is always good to engage with tech communities. So that's it from our presentation of this session. So if you have any questions, it's your time to ask them. So if you have any question, please drop them on the Slido. Asahan, we have a question: how to become a Microsoft Learn student ambassador? So
shall I answer this for this question? Yeah. Basically, that is a nice to have question. So basically, you have to go for the Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador web page, and you have to do kind of a pre-processing part. You have to submit your personal details, and you have to submit your submit 3 videos regarding your passion and what is your vision and why you applying for the Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador. So it is kind of a simple task. You have to only submit a kind of a single video instance and provide some of your personal data. And I warmly welcome all of you to join our Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador community. It is a kind of a good opportunity you all to enhance your knowledge on all the technological community and improve your versatility in technology. So Anjana,
so we can, I think those who are interested in joining with this Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador program, I think you can get everything related to this program from the website. So you can simply search Microsoft Learn Student Ambassadors and you can visit there. All the information is mentioned there. So simply you have to do is apply. We are encouraging all of you to apply for that one. It is a great place to learn with the community and improve your knowledge on these technical stuff. So another question we have got on the Slido. Can AI understand humans' emotions, feelings, depend on their voice or chatting history? Set of conversation details.
Yeah, I have to give you a nice example for the answer that question that asks, can AI understand a human emotion, feeling depends on the voice and chatting history. So have you guys watched Big Hero 6 movie? So basically the big Baymax can do all the things, the human emotions. He can understand all the human emotions and feelings and pains and recover, give health service bot. So basically kind of all of these kind of applications are implemented in nowadays, but we can't see in publicly, but in research level, all kind of applications are already built by foreign university researchers and all.
Yeah, that mean we can't at the moment. I don't know what's the latest status there, but as far as I know, there are no any AI that is closer to our human brain.
Yeah.
Because the human brain is the most powerful the processor in the world. So I think don't know what will the future look like, but
my personal concern is AI will end with the human will build same kind of a processor which similar to the human brain. That will be the end game of artificial intelligence.
Yeah, and also there are not AI, and now there is another field called quantum computing also. So if there is a huge burst there, so we don't know what will happen. So the technology will turn on its head there. So
And
if
the
you are
next
interested,
question is what are
the career paths for an AI degree in Sri Lanka? So as I know, recently in University of Moratuwa, they have started a new course on Bachelor of Science in Artificial Intelligence. So likewise, in Sri Lankan university system also, now they are integrating this AI as a separate subject. So other than that, if you are following an engineering degree or computer science or software engineering, I think you will get the chance to get hands-on AI, no? Isn't it fun?
Yes, of course. In my experience in our computer science degree, it has some modules regarding artificial intelligence where you can learn machine learning related stuff and also data science, and so basically under the subset of artificial intelligence. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. AI and quantum computing and computational cognitive science will make the future. Yeah. It's the future we are shaping at the moment. So we don't know with the introduction of quantum computing, our entire computing paradigm will be turn around. No?
Yeah, basically around 10 more years, it will predict if you toss a coin, it will predict whether it is going to toss a head or tail. So there are no predictions.
And if you are more curious on this AI and AI related stuff, you can watch. There are so many movies and all TV series that related to this AI. I found a very useful YouTube series called Age of AI on the YouTube. So which is hosted by Robert Downey, the Iron Man. So you can see how the technology is shaping up the future. You can gain many insight from that, as well as you can refer into this Microsoft Research and Microsoft AI demos labs, so you can find latest innovations and researches done by them. Not only Microsoft, the other ones also. There are so many things you can figure. And AI is not, it is all about just coding and all stuff. And there are other side also, that means entertainment side. So with AI, many many industries related to entertainment are gaining its wings to build upon their what we called their potential. So that's how AI is shaping the future. Are there any other questions? And we have another question. If we want to implement AI into chat-based application, do we need to learn whole AI-related studies? Actually, with the Microsoft Azure, most of the things are pretty easy, you know.
Yeah, to answer this question, it is pretty hard to answer this question. So my personal opinion is it is better to build up your knowledge first and
get the fundamentals.
Yeah, right. Get the fundamental and sufficient knowledge you have to build upon yourself before you go on into the practical applications. But if you are a curious person and you are really passionate about artificial intelligence, it's okay to build some demo application and refer some resources and build kind of a demo application. But it is always better to knowledge yourself first, and after that get into practical applications. It's just only a opinion, but you can do your own studies. It's up to you.
And Sahan, we got an interesting question. Does Microsoft Azure have any competitors, and how do they compare in terms of AI? Actually,
yeah, in today's context, I think Google is the main competitor for Microsoft in terms of AI, because for Google they have OpenAPI. I don't know whether you have heard about OpenAPI deep learning model, which that model. I don't remember that game. Anjan, do you remember that the game that the reinforcement learning model, which was the champion, 12 times champion?
Yeah, Chinese board game, no? What?
Yeah. So basically, the Google is the main competitor for Microsoft Azure in terms of AI.
I can't remember the name. Board game, what? So, are there any questions other than that? So always you have all the online resources, so you can Google whatever you come across when learning those stuff, and stay up to date with the latest innovations and all through social media and all. So you can learn many things. And also when it comes to AI, there is another platform called aigaming.com. So if you visit there, you can simply engage in a game. In gaming mean, what you have to do is, there you have to make a bot. So you have your bot, you have to code that bot to compete with other bots. So there are certain types of games. So you can make your own bot by coding, and you can put your bot in action. So you can win in competitions also. So simply try all those things. So you will learn many, and more importantly, learn with your peers. So this field is very huge, so you can't walk alone. So you need the support. So you need your community. So always engage with your community so you can move forward.
So that's a board game is Go.
Go, yeah.
The Chinese Go.
I just forget the name. Yeah, I think the Go game consists of 19 by 19 squares.
Yes, kind of a matrix.
Yeah, yeah. Chessboard is 8 by 8, no?
8 by 8.
Yeah. 19 by 19, that's why it's so complex. So it takes guts to develop an algorithm to compete in that Go game.
Yeah, it contains a reinforcement learning, deep learning module. So kind of a complex model.
And here we have got another question. What should be included in the video when applying to Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador? So basically, there it is kind of an application. So they are asking 3 questions. So what you have to do is you have to answer those questions through a video. That means most probably they are asking how would you do to your community through the technical knowledge you learn or something like that, and what's your passion, and you have to express all those things via video. So you have to submit, and there will be an evaluation phase. So if you are selected after that phase, you will be informed. So you can directly engage with the Microsoft Learn student community. So we encourage everyone to apply for that program. So become MLSAs and give back to your community and engage with peers on this learning journey. So we have run out of time now, sir. We have now close
Yeah,
to
with the time frame, it's
Yeah.
better to move on and wrap up this session also.
That's all the questions we got. I hope our session went smoothly. So please spare us if it looks like a lecture. So we had so many things to cover from our session. So we tried to present them as briefly as possible. So in the coming up week, we are having another session by my fellow Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador Satsarna Veerakong. So you guys will get to know Sahan Disanaga. So please get registered with this event also. It is on 5th of June at 6 p.m. on Microsoft Teams. I think from there you will be able to learn DevOps and how you can use Azure DevOps. So we invite all of you and your friends for this session also. Please attend that session and learn something new. So thank you for joining on today's session with us. Be safe. Please wear a mask. Although AI doesn't need any mask, but as humans, you need to wear a mask if you are going out these days. So stay safe. Take care of the people around you. So be a force for good. So thank you for joining.
Thank you all for joining. Hope you all have get a good knowledge around artificial intelligence. Thank you.